Well, it's an M&A Monday thanks to Schlumberger. The oilfield services company announced it will buy Smith International for $11.3 billion in stock. Joining us on the phone right now is Stephen Gengaro. He is a managing director and one of the top-ranked analysts at Jefferies. Stephen, first of all, the price. Is Schlumberger overpaying?
Well, Smith shareholders are certainly getting a healthy premium to the closing price on Thursday. The deal is likely not accretive for Schlumberger until 2012, based on their expectations for synergies. So it's a pretty rich price. I wouldn't say that they're overpaying, but I do think it's a very fair deal for Smith shareholders.
And I mean, this seems to be about size and scope, does it not, Stephen? But is it weird to you that Schlumberger is buying back parts of a business that it sold off 5 years ago?
Yeah, absolutely. The way the world has evolved, and you've seen it with Baker Hughes' pending purchase of BJ Services, the three major service companies have all realized the importance of product depth and product breadth. And one of the things that Schlumberger did several years ago was sell off a drill bit company to Grant Prideco. They're buying that back, but they're also buying back a drilling fluids company. And I think the key here is that as technology has evolved, the ability to integrate the design of the entire bottom hole assembly, including optimizing drill bits and fluids, has become of paramount importance to optimize performance.
Stephen, you mentioned Baker Hughes. I mean, Schlumberger isn't the only company out there that's capable of making purchases. Could anybody else come out of the woodwork for Smith?
We think it's unlikely for three key reasons. The first is the two most likely other buyers, Baker Hughes and Halliburton, already have significant presences in both the drill bits and the drilling fluids business, so that would be extremely difficult from an antitrust perspective. There's no overlap in the two key businesses for Schlumberger with Smith. And then the second key point, I think, is that Schlumberger owns 40% of a joint venture with Smith already, the MI Swaco drilling fluids joint venture. So I think that would complicate a transaction for other buyers.
You mentioned antitrust, so how much is the Schlumberger-Smith deal going to be seen with very minute detail, fine eyes, maybe aggressive eyes by regulators?
Well, the majority of Smith is extremely complementary and adds two product lines to Schlumberger they don't currently have. Now, a couple of years ago, Smith acquired a business called WH Energy. There's a key product line there called directional drilling, where there is direct overlap with Schlumberger. We think the regulators will look closely at that and possibly force a divestiture of that part of the business. We don't think that is a deal stopper at all.
Now, we know this is the biggest purchase of an oil field services company, basically since Bloomberg started tracking the data. Are there more to come, Stephen?
We think potentially, and I think the first thing you look at is certainly the business that has to be likely sold out of Schlumberger. And albeit it would be a smaller deal, we do think that occurs. I think the three biggest players with this transaction, Schlumberger, Baker Hughes, and Halliburton, are all very well positioned with very deep product lines post this transaction. So I don't think you see anything major from the big three, but you can certainly see some combinations.
Stephen, thank you so much. Stephen Gengaro, analyst there from Jefferies, joining us on the biggest deal of the year so far.